Alright YouTube, it's your boy Tank Be Chopping coming at y'all with another haircut tutorial. So what we're doing on this cut is we're going to take the sides down with a 3.5. We're going to taper up the sides. We're going to trim the top. We're going to put that hard part, you know, we're going for the comb over look. So yeah, let's get started. So as you can see, I'm saturating the top of the head. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the top and knock all this hair down, and I just do it that way just because for me it makes this easier. It makes this whole process easier. It's like when someone gets a 2 on top and a ball fade, normally you take the top down first, right? So I follow those same steps when it comes to longer hair. So I'm just trimming the top down first. You can't really see too much due to this angle with those first couple snips, but I basically made my first initial guideline. I took off like 1/2 inch, and I'm just following that all the way to the back. So I'm making sure I'm taking my time and I'm watching that guideline and I'm moving it with me. That way, basically all his hair is even on top. And we are going to keep a lot of that length in the crown area. If we cut it too short, it will stick up a lot, so that's something we don't want to do. So I'm keeping some of that length right there, guys, but I am taking it down because I do want it to be connected to the sides and I want it to fade in nice. So we're just doing a little more shear work to it. Alright guys, so now I'm starting on the sides. So since he does want a 3.5 on the sides, I have my number 3 guard on there. My lever is fully open and I'm coming up to that parietal ridge and I'm flicking out. And the reason for me flicking out is just so I don't create a harsh line. I want this to fade in nice and easy. So flicking out is going to help with that transition from the hair on top to the sides. So I normally do the whole sides at once, but I think on this particular haircut, you know, with kids, I like to knock it out in sections. So I just did the left side first and then the right side, and you know, so yeah. But this is my number 6 guard. So I know I went pretty high, you know, from my number 3.5, but I decided to put my 6 guard on there, and I'm just coming up and I'm flicking out. That way I take a lot of this bulk off and it fades into the top and it transitions really well. So I should have did this right after trimming the top, but I didn't for whatever reason. But I'm just parting his hair where that natural part is, because he is gonna get the hard part. But I'm just parting it over just so it makes this part of the haircut easier for me. So now I got my rose gold Babyliss Trimmers, and I'm creating my first initial guideline. And as you can see, I'm already lining them up above and behind the ear. Just because I have the trimmers in my hand already, so I feel like I should knock this part out already. And this line doesn't have to be perfect from the very beginning. This can be just like a rough draft. I'm gonna go over it again later on if needed. So it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but you know, you do want to make sure it comes out looking pretty good. So now I got my shaver and I'm just taking that initial bald guideline down to skin, grabbing my wall seniors. Lever is open and I'm coming up about 1/2 inch, and then I'm adjusting that lever, closing it towards the bottom of that guideline. Here's my number 1 guard. Lever is all the way open, coming up about another 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna adjust my lever and close it and work down. So I started off with the clipper open, then I closed it and I started taking out that bottom guideline. Here's my 1.5 guard. Lever is open. I'm coming up about another 1/2 inch, and I'm continuing to do a little more flicking motion, just so this taper fades in nice to the sides, to the length that we have on the sides. So here's my number 2 guard, and as you can see, I'm just flicking out, coming out. My lever is open, so this makes this a 2.5. And I want to make sure I'm flicking out and not putting too much pressure. That way it doesn't leave a harsh line. So here is my number 3 guard. My lever is closed. I'm cleaning up a lot of that bulk behind the ear. And just continue to fade that in. Now I got my blending shears. And I'm just knocking off some of that weight and some of that bulk. And just basically just make sure this haircut fades in nice. And the transition looks good. And you know the gradients is there. So now I got my trimmers back in my hand. And I'm knocking out that part. You can do this now, or you can do this at the end of the cut, whatever's easier for you. But like I said, when I do little kids, I like to work in sections just because they start moving. So I try to knock out this section as fast as I can, and then I'm gonna move on to the next. Shout out to my tattoo artist though, man. My tats be looking nice. Alright, so what I did to that side, I'm doing the same exact thing to the right side of his head. So this is my number 3.5 guard with my 3 with the lever open, and I created my first initial guideline up to that parietal ridge, and I'm just fading that to the top of his hair.
La ciencia.
Remember guys, if any of y'all are interested in winning some free clippers, y'all can go to my previous video. I just dropped it the other day. I'm doing a giveaway on my wall metal magic clips, so y'all check that video out. I will drop the link down in my description. So y'all check that out, and y'all go ahead and join if y'all want to enter to win some free clippers. I hope y'all appreciating this content, guys. I've been working. I got a bunch of tutorials on deck. I'm gonna be recording some more. And yeah, man, we're just working. So y'all make sure y'all smash that like button one time for your boy. And if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you can, leave a comment below and share this video with your fellow barbers. Just go ahead and share it on all your social media, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, so now we're in the back, guys, and like I was saying earlier, I did want to leave that crown pretty full, so I'm trying not to go too high with my fade in the back. That's why it is slightly dropped, but I'm just fading it in using bigger guards to make sure I accommodate for what I'm trying to do. So now I'm balding them out in the back with my Babyliss Rose Gold Trimmers. And I'm doing the same exact steps. I have my clipper open, created a guideline, and I'm closing it closer towards the bottom of that guideline. Or the bottom of that previous guideline, I should say. So as you can see, that's fading out. Now I got my number 1 guard on there, lever is all the way open, and I'm coming up about another ½ inch, and I'm fading downwards. So for the most part, guys, he's a good kid, man. I know y'all see him moving around a little bit, but all kids move, especially, you know, when they start getting hair on them, and after like the first 5 or 10 minutes, they're gonna start moving, man. It's really rare that you get a kid that sits completely still. Now it does happen, but like I said, for the most part, man, they're gonna move, and you just gotta knock that hair out. You know, that's why I do my kid cuts this way. I feel like it makes it easier and faster for me, so that's why I do it that way. But shout out to Lil Man, man. He's good, man. He knew I was gonna record. He was looking at the camera, but he's good, man. As you can see, he's trying his best just to sit still. So now what I'm doing here, guys, I'm taking out some of that bulk. I'm using my blending shears, and I'm just tapping where I see some hair that needs to be faded in better. Doing some small detail work on the fade. Alright, so now we're moving on to the edge up, and as you can see, I'm just clipping his hair up and out of the way. It just makes it easier for me to line him up. So I'm starting off at the middle of his head, creating my first initial guideline, and I'm just following that guideline for this whole lineup. So I do this a lot, especially when it comes to kids. I try to keep one of my hands on their head just to make sure, you know, they don't move as much. This way you can also feel when they're about to get a little squirmy, and you can pull the clipper away or pull the trimmer away. So yeah, this is just like a little thing that I like to do just to make sure I don't mess them up. So now we're just trying to finish off this side of the lineup. But yeah, man, this is what we do. We're putting in work over here. Alright, so now that that is done, I got my smooth volumizing texture powder. And what this does right here is it gives a dry look. You know, he doesn't really like the wet look. Well, his dad really doesn't like the wet look, so I'm using this as gel basically, but it's gonna keep it dry, but let it hold also. So I put a little bit of that in it just to style his hair. Alright guys, so check it out. This is the before. And this is the after. Yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comments, guys. And remember, if you haven't done so, please subscribe one time for your boy. I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Until next time.